We are taking a trip into one of Barcelona's allegedly most dangerous neighbourhoods. It's called El Raval. And if you've ever been to Barcelona, you might be familiar with the La Rambla street with lots of shops and restaurants. Well, on one side you've got the Gothic quarter, on the other side you've got El Raval, which is known for its shady side, shall we say. Anyway, more specifically, this is historically a working class neighbourhood, and I've heard at the moment that there's been a lot of problems with drugs, lots of houses where a lot of drug taking happens, and this has actually pushed people out of the neighbourhood, and that's where a lot of the problems happen. I've heard reports of muggings, burglaries, and all this kind of thing. I just want to see whether the reputation of this neighbourhood, El Raval, is true or whether it's just a load of nonsense. So let's go ahead and explore this place. So here's the first sign of trouble. Seems to be quite a few homeless people here. I actually walked through here last night and, well, I was accosted by somebody. I quickly moved on though. But whenever you see homeless people, it's always difficult to tell whether they're harmless or whether there would be a problem. So let's keep walking and see if we can get ourselves into any trouble here. I mean, that's the great thing about Barcelona, is that even in the supposedly dangerous neighbourhoods, everything still looks absolutely beautiful, even if sometimes it's in a bit of a worn out kind of way. But like, the buildings around here are amazing, they're absolutely solid. And like I was saying before, this is historically a working class area, and there's also been a lot of immigration, and I won't pretend to know much about this, but these murals are celebrating that fact. So I found a nice dodgy looking street here, very narrow, few shady characters hanging around. Let's see if we can get ourselves into some trouble, because right now we're in the very centre of El Raval. Yeah, actually they were just kind of normal people. I thought someone was going to nick my camera, but it hasn't happened yet. One thing I was reading was that in El Raval there used to be quite a big red light district as well, and in the 1980s that was cleaned up quite a bit to try to give the area a bit of a cleaner image. I mean, this particular street looks lovely, really. Not a prostitute in sight. So as you can see on my map here, we're kind of right in the centre of El Raval, and it feels absolutely safe. I mean, there's even a giant kitty cat over there. What could be safer than that? So I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest. I was hoping for some kind of action, at least some mild threat, but nothing at all. But there's one thing that I think is very interesting, which I'm going to go and explore now over to the north side, and it has a very interesting history about this working class neighbourhood, in particular relating to mothers. This looks like one of the shops for the immigrant community that I was talking about. All sorts of beautiful Asian jewellery. Seem to be a lot of second-hand bookshops in this neighbourhood, which I approve of. I think it's a lot better to sell your books on rather than chuck them in the bin, like I sometimes do. He looks thirsty. This is the building that I wanted to find, and that hole in the wall is basically where single mothers would deposit their baby to be looked after by this, I think it was basically an orphanage in this building behind me. So it was obviously very desperate times, and there were a lot of mothers that were giving birth outside of marriage, which was very well frowned upon. And this was one of the only places where those children could be looked after. Yeah, so it kind of, seeing this brings it all into perspective that this was actually a very poor neighbourhood. And if we compare it to back then, old El Raval isn't too bad these days at all. I know, I'm very disappointed, not even a small mugging. Oh well, I've enjoyed my exploration of this area of Barcelona. I hope you have too. And I'm heading down south to try to find some warm weather now, so I'll see you in the next one.